Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Aries EDC, the maker space, with a special guest on Meet the Maker. We're going to be talking that. Wow. We're going to be talking to Brian F. from Mitten State EDC, sharing some of his stuff. It'll be a pretty cool conversation. Let me say hello to everybody before we get started. But I just want to pop in here. Marco, Sean Field, channel member. What's going on? Robert Feely, channel member. Brian F. is in the chat and going to be on the live. Keith, the Night Freak moderator. What is going on? How are you? Jim Miller, moderator and channel member. What is going on? Let's see who else. Joseph S. Hello. Trouble Bunny. What is going on? Kathleen. Good to see you, Kathleen, moderator and channel member. That's odd. Rory Calhoun, what is going on, channel member? Let's see, who else? That is it. All right, so needless to say, we all know Brian F. He is a valued member of our community, always popping into things, does Knifeaholics, does the EDC Roundtable, cool maker of ferro rods, awls, and a lot of other really great stuff that we're going to be chatting with him about. Brian White, what's going on, channel member? So let's bring him in. What's up, Brian? Hey.
What's up, guys?
Everybody say hey to Brian. We're just going to be hanging out, talking all
Thanks, Keith. Thanks, Keith.
Cool stuff. Is Cheeto in here? Yeah, Panic at the Cheeto. Always changing up.
Marco, Cheeto, Jim.
Panic at the Cheeto. That got me earlier today, Cheeto, when you popped in. Yeah. He always kills me with his names. I don't know how you come up with so many different things, but it always gets me every single time. So what's going on, Brian? How are you?
Not much, but that hurts, Keith. That hurts.
Oh, there they are.
He's like, who's this Brian F. guy?
Oh, he knows.
These are all his, by the way. These are all from Keith.
Those are all from him?
Yeah, those are all Keith Knife.
Oh, we'll have to take a look at those a little later. Tim B, what's going on? I hope you're feeling all right, buddy. I know it's been
What's up, Tim?
I took a horrible band and made them great again. Panic at the Disco and Panic at the Cheeto. Oh, that's funny. All right. So, Brian, the point of this is to get makers in front of other people so they can kind of share their wares, share their story a little bit. I like to bring people on that don't have a lot of exposure to the community. Obviously, you're a little different because you have the exposure, but we can talk about all the things. I mean, some people may not know about Knifeaholics or what you're doing on EDC Roundtable and all of that kind of stuff. I think it'd be cool to share some of that stuff as well. But I guess what you're known for mostly in the making side of things is the ferro rods. Is that fair to say?
That's what I started with, yeah.
And now I know you're doing the awls and you're doing a couple other things, but so what got
all spoons, fidgets,
cool.
ferro rods, knife scales.
So you're getting it. Oh, the knife scales. I saw you doing, what was it? The muck or the muskrat?
Bug? Oh, I did. Yeah. So I've done some muskrats. This one's mine. Put glow liners on with my Carta. So
those are fun.
And then I made these for somebody that he ordered them orange and black micarta. And my Instagram, I haven't had time to go through. I've got to find the message. I'm ready to send it out to the guy. But I hate Instagram sometimes because it's the best way to communicate. But if it's someone you don't talk to with a lot, you can lose that message real fast.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had to dig through there to find messages.
So
that is for sure.
If you're on here, shoot me a message so it jumps to the top and yell at me. But I haven't forgot about you, and I'm getting it. I'll get it to you.
Yeah, and it's also when someone first tries to reach out to you and it gets hidden.
Yeah. What's up, Stevie?
And you're like, what's going on? Stevie, what's going on? Welcome. Addicted to Blades 2. I saw you pop in. What's going on? He's always
William
stuff. William Hornbostel. What is going? It took me a minute, but my T-Kill 004 Blem is razor sharp. Yeah, nice. Very, very cool. So ferro rods. Let's talk ferro rods. What got you into starting ferro rods and making fire besides maybe being a quiet pyro, but just like to see sparks?
I'm more of a background through prepper community type thing.
Okay.
With vets, outdoor stuff, hunting, fishing, all of that. Preparedness. So probably 10 years ago now, around Christmas time, I got the idea for all the guys and ladies in the group. I like making people stuff instead of buying stuff.
Okay.
So I made us all, a ferro rod that's going to last a lifetime.
These are awesome. Hold on. Let me make you big so we can see it.
So these were the originals, just solid oak. You can check your tires with these.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
And I mean, like I said, this is going on 10 years. I don't use this one a lot. It stays in one of my go bags. But I got it out because it's, the original. And that's where it started. I started making them for buddies. Then occasionally people would ask for them. And then when I got into the later on, as the knife community evolved, I started offering a couple, and I started thinking, man, there's so many other materials I can use than just a wood piece too. So I started experimenting with fun stuff, making them, and I'm always looking to do something else or come up with some other idea. So that's, like awls and the spoons, knife scales.
So is it basically anything that you can take with your preparedness and maybe throw a little EDC, micarta spin, or using handle materials that you might find on fixed blades or something and throw it?
So fat carbon. I just like trying new stuff. I honestly would love it if people would just reach out and tell me crazy stuff they'd like to make. But it's not really a business model, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like
hey, make this.
Yeah. I'd love to do a lot of just make people custom scales for their stuff or things like that. But
is that what you prefer to do, is the scales for knives now, or is it you don't care?
No, I like ferro rods, but I have a ton made, and there's an issue with the ferro rods. You can go on Amazon and you can get a ferro rod for $10, right? And it's going to do the exact same thing that my ferro rods do. So
yeah, but
exactly, I'm in a niche market for people that like these things and want like a custom one-off something there. That's the other thing too, is I don't like making all the ferro rods. I'd rather have someone tell me what they want. You know what I mean? And I'll make it for you. So it's exactly what you want. Because me taking and making something I think is awesome, some zebra wood with glow liner and micarta, it just, for the price of the materials, it just sits, Yeah. So.
And I can see that being a pain because I'm not downing how cool that is, because with the material, but the cost of materials and everything else, you're getting a custom ferro rod versus, just a store-bought ferro rod. And people maybe within our community, we can see the luxury and how cool that is. but then outside, like you said, they can go to Amazon
Yeah.
and do that.
Like,
how did
you look at it and you go, man, that handle's really cool. It glows. I'm not going to lose it. So there are benefits, you know. You drop one of my glow ferro rods in the woods, you're going to find it way faster than your just steel rod that fell out of your pocket from Amazon.
If it's the material I'm thinking about, yeah, you'll see it. That's for sure.
Yep. Yeah. And then, like, a lot of the times, the paracord I put on it, if I do like a lanyard or something that goes on the striker fob,
yeah,
it's not going to show. Well, maybe it is. You can see it's got reflective strands in it. So if you were to hit that with a flashlight,
yeah, it
glows. Yeah. So
that's cool. See, these are all things that you.
This is a full piece of blue glow acrylic.
Yeah.
So you're not going to lose that. And
even if
the good thing about these is the acrylic ones, I can press fit them. So if you ever wear out that rod, I can put a new one in.
That's awesome. See? And but that's a hard, I guess I'm trying to back it up because in me, I'm like, well, you could buy a cheap knife off of Amazon too, but it's not a custom thing that's going to last you a lifetime.
Yeah.
Where I don't know if the same thing,
there's knife collectors, right? So they naturally they start cheap and they build up and they want custom. There's not many ferro rod collectors. No. I don't think there's many guys out there going.
But I can see the appeal for something nice. I guess, you know, you're with your buddies over at the camp and, oh yeah, that's a ferro rod? No, let me check out my ferro rod. And
that's a Keith the Knife Freak design. That's the Hunter safety ferro rod.
Go. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, Keith. I could see Keith doing that. And then a jank that goes with it.
Yeah.
I like the little janks and stuff. So are you set up, just a curiosity, just from another maker, are you set up with like, to make the round ferro rods, how are you getting that shape?
On these handles?
Yeah, like what tool are you using mostly for that?
Mostly a drill press.
So you're just using the drill press in the hole and then sanding on the drill press?
Normally I'll glue up material to what I want. Like if I want something with the Americana liners in it.
Yeah.
I have to put that together. Right. Glue then glue the wood to it all separate. Get it all set up for a long period of time. And it's usually a block. Right?
Yeah.
Then I drill the hole for the ferro rod size that I want, whether they want a small, medium, or large. And press it in and start turning it on the drill press and shape it by hand with sandpaper.
Okay, so you're turning it on the drill press. That's kind of how I was.
So I have a couple rods set aside that I try not to scratch up, you know, because if you hit that with sandpaper, you get sparks. But I sometimes tape them too, but then the tape kind of leaves the finish patchy, which really shouldn't matter because you've got to scrape it off to use it, but it still doesn't look the best. So
yeah, you want it to look good. But I was just curious, like on the drill press, how you're getting to be able to sand that shape out. So that's a cool way to do it, where you have it just hanging from the drill press. You have the rod.
It's basically just like a lathe, but inverted.
You've turned your drill press into a lathe.
Yep. And I do have a lathe now, so
do you?
I can make even different stuff now with ferro rods, but I haven't really got into that yet because I've got a lot of stock and not a lot of people asking for them. So
that's awesome. So because a lathe is going to step up the things that you can do, right?
Yep. it makes it a lot easier to keep centers and stuff like that too.
Well, you can also do different shapes within the handle as well. Instead of just being an oval kind of shape, you could do different inserts, and you can get real creative with doing that kind of stuff.
Jim, I can't do anything with metal. I don't do metal stuff, so titanium's out.
Titanium
that or
scales.
Yeah.
Everybody asks me if I can do it, and everybody I've talked to who's worked with titanium, they're like, it's great until it's not.
Donnie would probably be able to do something for him.
Super careful with it.
I don't know how Donnie does all the stuff he does without a mill. Like, that dude's amazing.
You have to go so slow, because as soon as it gets hot, it gets hot like that. So
yeah, it's crazy.
I've worked with copper before, and it's the same way. And once that stuff gets hot, it melts and it's gone. I don't know if you've ever played with like copper liners within any of your ferro rods, but be careful.
I've got some copper in the shop that I was experimenting with, and yeah, once that don't add too much heat.
Yeah, you do a copper liner and then you're working it, and all of a sudden, where did it go? It just disappeared. It's because it melted away. Well, that's awesome. I'm 100% ignorant for ferro rods. Are you buying just the stock material somewhere, cutting it up? Or
yeah, I'm not. I don't want to cut it. You're throwing sparks to cut those things, even with the bandsaw or something. So there's places I can buy like larger rods and I'd save money, but I'm not saving money because I'd have to buy something to cut it. And so I buy stock the sizes I want and then put them in.
Yeah, that's cool. And so that started, I'm sorry, how long ago? 10 years ago?
About 8 to 10. Making these ones. It wasn't for people. These were all gifts back then.
Yeah.
So.
And then when did it get into something where it was like, I could make more of these and have a little fun with it?
So probably COVID time, when everybody started getting on YouTube again and I started getting back into the community.
Yeah.
You know, I met Backpacker Doug and I was like, I'm going to send them one. So I made one, and theirs are kind of cool. I made old school ones like this that were just oak and ferro rods. But I had read that ferric chloride that you use for acid washes is actually a crazy stain on wood. So I did it, and their oak is like this deep battle gray. It's crazy. It looks like metal. It's pretty cool. So
yeah, I can see it doing that. Having worked with ferric chloride with against wood, it definitely will stain some wood. That is for sure.
So, you know, most people just take and they wipe it on the stain and then rub it or sand it. I took the damn thing and I dipped it right into I dipped both of the knobs right into my blade wash, because I make my own ferric chloride.
Yeah.
And which is dumb, but I do. And pulled it out, let it dry, sanded it up, cleaned it up a bit. And I was like, yeah, it looks okay. Before it even got to them, it probably got 5 shades darker when they showed it to me. And every time Backpack pulls it out, it looks darker. I think it's still just...
It sits there.
Yeah, it's doing its job.
Okay, so I have ferric chloride with acid etching, and I spilled a bunch of it in my shop. And to this day, like, it's still just... anything that gets near that spot that's metal starts to corrode and starts to rust I'm just like, well, I've cleaned it so much, and it just keeps coming.
Do you have a big brown stain where you spilled it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
my whole shop is a mess right now. But hey, you live and learn. But it was ferrochloride and vinegar mixture and apple cider vinegar mixture that I used for my acid etching for my blades. Yep. So yeah,
apple cider vinegar is a great etching component for high carbon steels.
Oh yeah, so I use that mixture for a lot of my acid etching, for like just doing like that kind of stuff on the blades. Let me.
What's up, Caleb? While you're showing that off, say hi to a couple people.
Yeah. So just, I don't know. The camera's not even going to pick it up because it's too dark. But I did the acid etching on that with that mixture. And it's just ferrochloride and apple cider vinegar 60-40 mixture. And it does an amazing job on any. That's stainless. That's AEB. And it's still.
Wow, I didn't know it would do anything to a stainless. So I know.
After heat treat, it'll do it.
I love Moras, the high carbons, because they're just such good stash knives. Problem is they'll rust, especially if you're just stashing them and say you cut something nasty with it and throw it back in the. You take that apple cider vinegar, put it in a pot, get it up to a boil, take it off the heat, pour it in a jar, and put that Mora in there for 10 minutes. Never have to worry about it. That forced patina looks great.
Yep.
And
you're basically taking carbon steel and you're just force patinaing it, which is going to give it a little bit of corrosiveness, anti-corrosive materials to it. But I mean, don't be stupid with it. It'll still rust.
Yeah,
it'll help with the little stuff.
It's definitely a big difference. If you were to take one, at least in Michigan, that isn't treated at all, you'll get spots on it pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
The first one I've done is still, I love the finish on that thing.
Yeah, it gets a great finish. I use it, like I said, I've used it with the ferrochloride in my blades for a lot.
I think I'm going to add that into my ferrochloride next time I make some. I never even thought about the fact that you can.
I use about a 60-40 mixture, ferrochloride 60, add about 40% apple cider vinegar. You let it sit in there for 15-20 minutes. You got a really good finish usually coming out of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it works really well. So that might be something fun.
What's up, Robo? What's up, Fook?
What's up, Raybo? What's going on, guys? Welcome, everybody. We're talking ferro rods right now, but you started getting, I saw the awls. Was that just something else? So you were like, that's a useful tool that needs a handle. I could start doing those too.
Yep. So I use an awl a lot. So these are great for getting knots out. I don't keep my fingernails or anything like that. These are great for getting into that.
Yep.
Anything. You got to poke a hole in something. You needed it for a little backup. Anything. Leather work, all kinds of stuff.
Absolutely.
Then there's also the alternative uses that people use to clean their pipes, things like that.
Yeah.
So, but it's just another idea I came up with when I had small pieces of fat carbon sitting around, and I'm like, what can I make with this that would be cool? So I thought it was cool, so I made some. And then...
Are you putting those in the drill press and creating the point on them?
Nope. So I'm getting bulk, just steel awls,
okay,
and I make my own handle for them. So
no, that's cool.
And then I went into a coffin, made the coffin designs.
That's
I can't think.
That's awesome.
I think it was Dang Ross maybe that asked me to do a coffin first. I'm not sure. So I started doing those. And then started making the spoons. So these spoons are like pharmaceutical grade that they're long ones that they use in labs. And I cut them down. And then I can use the cutoff piece to make another awl if I want. Or, so it works out.
Yeah. I mean, Stevie uses it for the alternative, at which that spoon can be used for that as well. So that's awesome.
What I'm actually thinking about doing that I thought about when I made these ones. So this is the spoon. And the piece that I cut off is the exact same diameter. I think I want to start offering another piece that's the poker, so you can have both. And then if they want to clean their spoon, they can just take the spoon out and put it into the solution without getting it on the wood or the carbon fiber.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a great idea. See? That is an amazing idea. Hey, Raybo, awesome. I'm glad you got yours, buddy. Thank you for the support. I hope you like it as much as I do. So really cool. Got your bloom in Ultim yesterday.
Oh,
awesome.
You guys are teasing me. I was waiting for White Mountain to get them, right? And I get home one day from work and I think it was EDC with DVD posted that White Mountain had them, and I jump on. I went to get the black one. All of them gone.
Yeah. They had very limited numbers to start with.
Then Kubi was not wise. They need to pump it up. They didn't realize the storm that was coming.
From what I understood, they didn't get many in of each variant. So, listen, I don't know. I tried to tell Kubi it's going to be popular, but of course I'm going to say that. So
yeah, they don't want to take your word for it.
I mean, I'm the designer of it, but I kind of know with just my following, people are going to like it, and then maybe some other people in the community. So they didn't have that many. So everybody's congratulating me on it, which I am beside myself that they sold out so fast, but I know it was very limited numbers. So, but
What's up, B Shady, Brown Sugar?
That just proves, and I reached out to White Mountain Knives and I'm like, hey, are you going to get any more? And he's like, they sold real quick. I'm going to reach out to Kubi to see if they're going to when they're going to send more. So, and I don't know any other of the U.S. retailers that are getting them.
See, that's the problem is, as soon as you announced that they were out, I went to Knife Global. I buy a lot of, I'm kind of a Kubi collector, but I went there and I was going to get it, but the shipping was crazy. I've never seen, it must be tariffs or something, because
it's $35.
They wanted, when I looked, I think they wanted 30. I was like, So I'm like, White Mountain's getting these. So I thought, no problem. Nope, they went fast.
Yeah.
So I'm probably just going to bite the bullet and buy it from an overseas vendor.
Because Knife Global or Kubi,
yep,
it's $80 plus $30 shipping. White Mountain Knives had them for like $65, and then everybody has a code now that saves you even more money. And then and shipping was nothing. So yeah, people were scooping them up for like $50. I mean, I'm not complaining.
That's a steal. You know, I'm fine with the 80 that they even had on the thing if I didn't have to pay shipping.
I bought my own for like, even using a code. It was like $100 when it first came out off of Kubi. This is the blue one. But yeah, I got that one from them right off of Kubi's website.
Maybe I'll buy the Ultim one and make my own scales.
There you go. I mean,
so this is the Ultim Dust Devil.
And you did your own scales on it?
Yeah, it's walnut.
That looks good, though. Yeah, that looks awesome. Heck yeah. And because it's shadow boxed, it lends itself.
Yeah,
to
it actually makes it harder to make, but also, you know, a lot of like when you're doing a full size knife and you can kind of sand down to the liners and smooth everything out, clean it up. It's hard. You got to do them individually to a line, and if you go too far, you're going to notice it when you look at it compared to the other one.
You will, but yeah, it
does give it a little bit of individuality too.
It's a custom scale, so there's going to be minor imperfections with it, and that just makes it what's custom. So
I didn't have this thing for 3 days, and I'm like, I'm going to make these walnut scales. I had just gotten a bunch of walnut from a guy, his name's Cal, from Surprise Holster Works out in Washington. He just sent me a bunch of walnut. It was awesome. So I was itching to make something. And I went out in the shop, and I made that first shot, just on the fly, made it, loved it. And I'm like, sweet. And I posted it, and people are like, oh, I want some. So I started cutting up some more of the walnut, and it started warping on me, and just I couldn't get pieces that would stay good once I got them as thin as I wanted them. And then I did get some that were staying flat and staying good, and when I went to drill them, they cracked. So it took me probably 4 tries to make the pair that I sent Freestab and Troy.
That's horrible. Were they not stabilized walnut?
No, it's not. It's not stabilized, but it was in a wood storage, like, temperate building for 30 years. You know what I mean? So it's not too, if anything, it's probably getting moisture in it being in my shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you can hit up Keith because now he can stabilize.
I know. I'm thinking about cutting some of that walnut nice and thin and sending it to him and asking him to stabilize it for me.
You send it to him. Yeah, I had my Dust Devil for a little while, and then I was like, I'm going to make another sheath for it, but I'm going to make a taco sheath for it.
Dude, I'd love one of those because, I made it work like this. Oh, and by the way, that's a matching walnut ferro rod. The G-Bow version with the micarta button.
See, Brian's just fancy on us. But everybody started hitting me up and asking me to make Kydex sheaths for these. And I was like, no, I got too much.
You got too much going already.
I got way too much going on. I don't need to start doing sheaths for everybody too. But it does make that carry a very different experience, especially how I like to carry, which is horizontal. In front of my belt. And
I've learned that that's how I like to carry.
Yeah.
I thought it would be uncomfortable. I'm not a small guy. I thought the belly, stuff like that, but when I got my first T-Cal, and, he always carries his up front, I'm like, I want to try it. T-Cal clips are one of the best.
Yeah, that is a great clip.
These things are so comfortable to carry. Especially Scout right in front.
Yep. Yeah, that's how I always carry is Scout in front. That's why I have like all my blooms set up with the loop just to do the Scout carry. It's like I don't even know it. I forget it's even there. It just completely disappears. And until I need to use it. But that's how I like to carry my EDC fixed blades. So with the making part of things, is that scales something you really want to get into more? Is just doing more scales of stuff? I know you mentioned it earlier too.
I've been doing it on and off forever. Like I did that Dust Devil when it first came out. Like I said, I've done the Muskrat. I do a lot of my own knives. That's where a lot of this comes from. I like to make things my own. I might buy a Kubi, but I end up, one of the reasons I always liked Kubi is a lot of their knives are onlay, right? I don't have a mill to mill out the liners, so I didn't want to mess with it. But, I like micarta, and a lot of Kubi knives were G10, but affordable. But they didn't have my car diversions. So I just started making my own.
That is awesome. So you made those scales. That's cool. That is
So
pretty stinking
cool. Folders are a lot more
difficult
than a fixed blade, especially for the fact that, like I said, I can't match these up on the knife, right? I can't take someone's folder and bring it across the sander to get things smooth. That's all trial and error. And if you screw up, then guess what? I'm starting another scale. So
it's little by little until you get it right.
Slow and steady.
And then you have to make sure every single hole matches up perfectly with all the different screws that are in there.
So this one's really good. I like the way this one came out, but I still screwed it up. And I don't know if anybody will notice what it is, but
I can't see anything.
The KB logo is supposed to be on the show side.
Well.
And with this knife, the pivot show side and the other side are not the same diameter. And I already pre-drilled the...
oh, no.
So I was like, nope, I'm fine with it.
and that's one of those things nobody would ever notice, really, probably. But I guess
probably not.
Right. The KB logo is on the show side on these.
Yep.
Side. So, that's crazy though. But I guess doing scales like on something like a little fixed blade wouldn't be terrible to do. But it's just trial and error and doing it.
So yeah, like things like this, especially these, I make them to size. I take double-sided tape, put it on the material, stick it to it, drill the holes, take it back off, shape it, sand it, and then put them back on. And with these kind of bolts, I basically just have to kind of chamfer the hole so that it sets in nice.
Yeah, so it insets in.
Well, when I was talking, I told Edgy American, I'm like, I'll start doing some scales for you if you want. I said, it'd be sweet if your knives came with removable scales. You know, then people, if they want to upgrade sometime, they can take them off. So I just went, the first one I actually talked to was Keith. He had made the Kiridashi, and I said, you want to do a collab? Because he was asking if people wanted scales or not on it. And I said, I'll put some on there. So went out right away, bought these gusset bolts, and got them in, told them the sizes, and then I'm looking at them like, these are big. These are real big. Like, look how chunky this is. I mean, it actually feels good. I would have thinned it down if I didn't. But
that is a chunky handle, that is for sure.
Now I've figured out processes to fix all that stuff, and I can make it thinner. But thickness actually does feel. It doesn't feel bad at all. I mean, I like it. But
you didn't want it in your hand.
I mean, if I wouldn't have been that thick, these things would have been sticking up. And
well,
I figured that out. I've got all the tooling now. I know which bolts are what. But the way they describe them on the stuff, it's so confusing. Like, one of them, they'll describe the barrel diameter. And it says 1/4 inch. And you're like, sweet, that's what I want. But it's the 1/4 inch head. So the head's a 1/4 inch, the diameter of the barrel is not. So, but it was so effed up. So I've got them all now. I've got all the taps. I've got all the mills. So I can pretty much do any size I want now. But
yeah, it's a lot of fun, and you start to learn different languages, basically. That's why I've done removable handle scales on some knives before.
This one is not removable.
No, it's just a giant pin, though.
Well, this one, I put them on, and the scales were a little high on one side, and I was smoothing it down, and I scuffed the screw. And oh no, this is one where it stuck up a little bit. I'm like, I can take off that 1/16 of an inch without doing anything. Dug it too deep, and then the Torx wouldn't lock into it anymore. So it wasn't coming out. And I'm like, well, this one's pinned.
We're thinning it all out, and those screws are never coming back out again.
Yeah.
So basically, you did a Corby bolt.
Yeah, this is now a pinned 6-foot.
Yeah. Yeah, I've played with it before with removable handle scales, and it's not something that I am a fan of doing. Like normally I will glue the pins and I just glue everything up, and that's how I normally would do my stuff. But it's a different look. Like you have the screws.
I like both. I like those pins. The pins look so classic. You know what I mean? Especially if it's a nice bronze pin or a mosaic.
Yeah, but I mean, like I'll have something like this where the pins really blend in with the handle. They're just black pins, and it just kind of disappears into the handle too. It gives it a different look. I feel like sometimes the screwed removable handles with the screws almost give something a more production feel than more of a custom.
More mass-produced look.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it gives it that different look.
A little less artisan.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not downing it in any way. Like I'm in the middle.
No, I see what you're saying.
I'm in the middle of this collaboration project. Oh yeah, let me see that.
So this is Stevie's Thug.
Yeah, I like that design, the Thug. Yeah, that looks good.
So he's sending this out to Paul when he gets it to get a Paul wash. So it's going to have that really dark, as almost black acid wash on it. So I reached out to him with the material he's using. I'm like, do you want black hardware? So, and then it's got white glow liners.
If he's going to acid etch all of that, then he's probably going to want to take those scales off.
Oh, yeah. And it's removable. So
that's perfect. Yeah. I love that thing.
Here's mine.
I'm in the middle of this collaboration project with my friend Corey Holly, and he did all the grinds and stuff on that. But the handles are removable. So he did the screws on the handles. And then I did 3. He has them right now, so I can't show them. I wish I could. But I glued them all up, so it's going to be interesting to see the difference with them all together. But this gives it that custom look, but the screws just give it, I don't know, that little. But they are removable, and based on what Corey said, he glued up the lanyard on the inside so you can actually take everything off.
Okay.
So, because normally that would be hard tied on and the scales wouldn't be able to come off the knife. I don't know how he did it, but he somehow glued that up so you can actually take those scales off. And this is D2.
That's actually a good idea. I just thought of something. So when I do it, it's just a drilled hole. I could actually take some of my pen casting and cut pieces the width of the thing, glue them in, and when I flatten the scale out, it'll grind it right off, and then I'll have it inside there.
There you go. See?
You just gave me a new idea.
Hey, we're all here to help each other, right? Whatever it was that we were talking about, I'll take it. Hey, as long as it helps, that's one thing that's been amazing. And I don't know if you have reached out to anybody else doing the things that you're doing, but the community is always there to help. The making community, whether you're a knife maker or whatever, you always get that camaraderie between everybody, and everybody wants to help everybody do better.
Yep, there's some awesome people out there. Like I mentioned him earlier, the guy that sent me the walnut cal from Surprise Holster Works. He made me a bunch of these out of scrap Kydex he has, and just sent them to me so I could
See, that's so helpful for you.
And that allows you, if someone gets one and you can hook it on.
Yeah. Those are awesome. Yeah.
He's gotten so busy with making holsters and sheaths that now I'm going to have to talk to his buddy that does it, and I think Canadian Craftsman or something is what it was. But he's going to start making them. I got to get an order in for some more of these.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good idea. I mean, not that I need anything, but I know I have little scraps of Kydex that are really too small to do on most of my knives, even though my knives aren't that big. But that would be perfect for something like that.
So ferro rod right on my hatchet.
Right on the hatchet.
So
he's prepared.
He made that, and he made the hatchet sheath.
Did you send him that hatchet?
He had one. He had a head to go off of, and he also has Fiskars. So,
he just.
This is the Gerber with the saw on the handle. Actually, a pretty good one, made in Taiwan. And then I really like the Fiskars X7. And if you into it and you want something like that, he's got all kinds of them on his Etsy page.
That's pretty stinking cool.
That's the downfall of these is they come with a horrible, stupid loop over cover. It's not even a sheath. You can't carry it. And then he puts a belt loop on it even if you want. So
there you go. Now, see, that's what the Tech Lock would be good for.
Yeah, when you're carrying something heavy like that, you don't want
to. Not this. You don't need the Tech Lock for that.
No, when you put it on a tiny little fixed blade.
Yeah, why the Tech Lock's almost as big as the knife? That drives me crazy, but I don't know.
Hey, Paul.
You would think companies would be able to get something like this much cheaper than the giant plastic Tech Lock that they send them with, but I don't know. Like I just sent out a blue bloom for the pass around group so everybody could check it out, but I sent it and it killed me to do it, Brian. I sent it exactly how they sent it to me. And I so much wanted to just be like, this is not how it's intended. I put the lanyard on it myself. But I didn't. I sent it.
You should have put a lanyard in the box and then some soft loops. And this is how.
That's how they come. They come with that big Tech Lock on it, and then just some loose paracord. So you have to tie your own lanyard with the paracord. Like this paracord came with this knife, and I just tied a snake knot onto it. But
yeah.
I don't know. It was weird. I really wanted them to add lanyard to it. At the time that the Kubi was being in production, the Baby Banter came out, fixed blade. The Baby Banter fixed blade came out, and it had the snake knot lanyard on it. I believe everything I saw had it on there. And so I was like, hey, look, this knife came with it. I think it'd be cool to add that to that knife. And they're like, yeah. And they just threw a piece
of rope.
They just threw a piece of paracord in there, which is fine, I guess. But I mean, I actually did a video on how to tie a snake knot. So did Kelly's Mishmash. So thank you, Kelly, for doing that. But it's funny.
It's a great knot to know. I tie a lot of them.
Yeah.
What's up, Terry? What's up, Bluminati?
Once you learn it, then it's super easy. It took me a while to figure it out, but yeah, it's crazy. So what's the best place to get custom stuff for you? Is it Instagram? That's where they hit you up, the EDC Roundtable?
Either one. There's inquiry on the EDC Roundtable. If you go to each maker's page, there's an email inquiry spot. So if you wanted to use that, you can go in there, or you could go through Instagram and just start chatting it up, and we can figure it out.
Can we pull up your the roundtable stuff?
Yeah,
we can do that. Yeah, that's a good point, Brian, that the big companies are buying one style clip for all of their knives, not just the small ones. You're right.
Yep.
You're right. But I don't know. Even the big ones, I don't know if people are actually using those for even the larger knives. I don't know.
The other thing, too, is I think knife guys know that carrying scout or horizontal like that is comfortable in a good way. I think a lot of just one-time buyers or something are going to want it somehow to attach either to their clip, to their belt, or to their clip onto their pant pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. It's just, I don't know. All right, so we got Mitten State EDC on the round table. We got alls available. Oh, I like the wooden. They come with like a little wooden sheath for it.
Yep.
That's kind of cool. You were holding something like this up, right?
Yeah. I have mine right here.
That's cool. I'm gonna go through this. I can't see you.
So, yeah, someone mentioned that they wanted to carry it, and I was like, well, I never thought about that. And I'm like, I can make you a sheath. It's not going to be fancy. And they're like, yeah, do it. So all those are is dowel rods that I do the.
What are you saying that?
Take and drill the center to just slightly narrow than the diameter of the awl. Then I press fit it, put a little die on it, and taper the tip around so that it's not squared.
Yeah, that's awesome. See, I like the little, I guess we're calling them the janks or worry stones. So behind me, I have a whole bucket of material that I've just never used, just like end cuts. So I have this whole box of just end cut material or oops material that it's big enough to do. Maybe I keep it just in case something comes up and I want to do a bolster look or something. But I've also thought of just doing, like, you have a piece like this, nice and thick material, is a perfect little worry stone type material. So I've thought about it. I got the cool glow in the dark stuff that is ridiculous, but yeah. So I might have to start doing janks or worry stones. Like, I have enough time to do any of that, but
yeah, how these started was like, this is a cutoff of the block that I made to make, something like this.
Yeah.
Right. I knew I wasn't going to need that thick of a piece, so I cut a piece off, and then I don't want to throw it away. So I'm like, what do I do? And I'm like, oh, I can make a piece of jank out of that, a little. And I have a bad habit that I think a lot of people might have. At night, I'll sit there flipping my knife, and my wife's trying to sleep, and she gets pissed. So I've learned that one of my glow, worry stones, I can sit there and fidget with that, and it's kind of cool because it's glowing, and I don't get yelled at.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, my wife has gotten really good at tuning out the click.
I think my wife, most of the time when she's in a deep sleep, because I still catch myself doing it, right? And I'm like, oh, man, I shouldn't be doing this. No. But I still feel bad when I do end up waking her up.
Yeah. Yes, Kathleen, I am very aware if I start doing janks or worry stones, that's going to be another package hatchet scenario. But I don't know. That'll be just something, like, I have time to do that. I don't have time. I don't have time.
Yeah, so
extra project?
This is for Joe. He wanted a micarta ferro rod, and I just came up with something I like. This is a cool jute burlap, black liners and glow.
Joe
and
Casper?
then
Or Isabella?
no, Joe Lancelot leather.
Okay.
And this is a cutoff again, so I made him a
There you go.
jank to go with it.
Jank to go with it.
Yep.
That's cool. I mean, those are that's like when I make a custom bead that matches the material that's on the knife. It's just an added little icing on the cake type of thing. Yeah, I think I just for like gifts and things, I might do some worry stone stuff, but it's fun to do those kind of things, and it's becoming more and more popular, and more people are doing the worry stones and that kind of stuff. But I think the bread and butter is like that kind of stuff where you're doing the scales and that. It looks so good. What material is that? That's the Fordite?
Yeah, so that's Fordite from Mike at Chromatic EDC or Outcast Blanks, whichever one you know him by. And then that's his glow material in there, the white.
Yeah, I have some of that stuff.
I have a bunch of, the cutoff from this piece, and I'm thinking about gluing it up and putting it on my pen mandrel on the lathe and turning a bead.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, you have the lathe now. That's a stuff.
What's up, Byron?
I've done splitting slices. What's up, Byron? Trouble Bunny. I love my package hatchet. Wow. Yeah, I know the package hatchets. Ridiculous. But yeah, I do the beads. I just put them on my little Dremel and I turn that into a lathe just to do the beads.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just another way to do it. Oh, let's go back to the round table.
I've got Big Doug, broke ass EDC. He bugs me all the time. When are you going to do a pen? When are you going to do a pen? When are you going to do a pen?
Yeah.
I don't want to do pens. I've got a pen mandrel. I bought one right away because I knew you need one to do beads, Yeah. But I don't really want to get into pens.
Yeah, I know PNW's got that kind of covered. He's doing some really cool pens. I actually have one here. Where's my pen? I have a PNW Funworks pen here.
Heck yeah.
This is Lacewood. But yeah, somebody submitted that for a future giveaway, which I'll be doing when I hit 3K here on YouTube, which I'm very close getting to 3K. I'll be giving that away in the giveaway. So I got
What's up, Doug?
Oh, there's Big Doug.
Yeah, look what he said. He's lurking in the tub, listening to us.
Doug, TMI, brother. TMI. You just keep your thoughts to yourself. You keep your thoughts to yourself over there. No, it's cool. And you do Knifeaholics with Backpack B and Broke Ass EDC. When
Yep,
do you guys do that? Thursday nights or Saturday?
Saturday nights at 10:15, but they usually start at 10. Our original starting time was supposed to be 10:15. I don't know why, but so they're always on, and I don't get on until 10:15 because for some reason my wife doesn't need me for every hour of the day, but 15 minutes before I'm supposed to go on the stream, there's a few things that need to be done.
Of course.
And that's when I find out. So I usually stick to that 10:15. What's up, Pedro?
It's funny how that works out, isn't it? That's why I do these at this time because mine is already in bed.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said 10:15 because my wife usually goes to bed pretty early, even on Saturdays. Oh, yeah. Well, lately she's been staying up later, and then she's like, "You do this every Saturday," and I'm like, if I didn't have this to do, you probably would have been in bed at 9. But I can't complain.
But you're gonna do it.
She
anyway.
puts up with me, so I mean,
you did just say clicking the knives and the jinx, so
no, I got the better deal. Put it that way. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Oh yeah, same here. I don't know how she puts up with it, but she does. she pushes my ridiculous habit of doing things. That's for sure. Because God knows I've done some crazy stuff. And
same here. I've gone through a lot of like. I used to breed fish, like big time. African cichlids. I had a fish room. My old house, my basement was aquariums. Like, I was big. I have an old channel on here on YouTube called Fish Keepers List with all my cichlids and I bred them and would give them to all the pet stores and sell them to people, and he put up with that for years.
Everybody kind of knows my old thing was the snakes and lizards and turtles and everything else. And this room, there was hundreds of snakes in this room. So she put up with all of that. I was breeding snakes and producing snakes and lizards and geckos and all kinds of stuff. She put up with it all. Some of them we have, all the ones we have left, they're all considered pets now, but they're hers too. She's the weird one with the tarantulas and scorpions that are in here, but she's right along with me, so I can't say too much about it.
When I was younger, I had some scorpions.
Yeah,
I just went to the pet store and they had them, and I was like, "This is awesome!" So I picked some up and bought them. I had them for about 6 months, and I never had an issue. None of them. I used to handle them too. They wouldn't sting me or anything. But then I found out that their sting is basically a bee sting. And I'm allergic to bees.
Yeah, not good.
So I had to get rid of them. And I am an exterminator who's great at bees. So if you have any bees, call me.
Call you to get rid of the bees, or don't call you to get rid of the bees?
No, I do it. It's funny. People don't. So hornets, wasps, I don't really mess with bumblebees unless they're in someone's structure and they have to be removed, And even then, I try to get you to call a beekeeper because they want them, Why get rid of them? But hornets and wasps, yeah, it's go time. So I'll show up at people's houses and they'll be like, "How long is this going to take?" And I'm like, "Not as long as you're expecting for how much it's going to cost you." And they'll be like, "Well, why is that?" And I'm like, "Well, you can do it. I'm going to make it look easy, but it's not going to, if you have the right tools and the knowledge, it's not hard to do."
That goes with pretty much anything, but yeah. No, yeah. I have had a couple of scorpions, emperor scorpions, but they're pretty much harmless. The rule with scorpions is the larger the claws, the less likely they are to sting, because they'll
pinch.
Their main sense of hunting is they're just going to squeeze whatever their prey is to death and then bring it in to eat. And I never thought I would be into the tarantulas or the scorpions. And my old channel, actually this channel, I had to rename everything, was Reptiles Revealed, because I did reptile education stuff. And I got the tarantulas and stuff just for another cool thing for kids to see. And they're fun, but I've bred. Caleb said you used to breed ball pythons. Yeah, I've done plenty of the balls. I have my pied Pixel. I've shared them on the channel before, but I don't really feel like getting them out right now. But
Oh, Byron, that's great. Don't let bees see that.
Well, what do you say? I got this bees and a queen. I need relocated to access the Kaiser collection. He's not that exterminating.
I I get women all the time when I show up to take care of wasps and stuff. They're like, "Can you deal with that?" And I'm like, "Your husband? No." I'm like, "I'm not licensed for that."
I am sure. God knows what you deal with on that one. Oh, you still have a spider? Okay, Caleb, that's cool. I used to do albinos and everything else, and now I just have my Pixel is a piebald ball python. I don't know if you've ever seen a piebald.
Yeah, they're sweet.
Yeah, I have a pied. That was like my grail snake when they first.
It's funny you say that. There's a show on Discovery called The Amazing Dr. Pole. He's a veterinarian in the state of Michigan.
Of course, Dr.
And
Pole,
he was just on. He was just on today, and someone brought a ball. They brought the python with the white markings and stuff in to him. So
yep.
Just saw it today. Yeah,
people that I pull him out when people are like afraid, but when they see something that looks like that, they're like, "Well, wait a minute." This doesn't make any sense in my brain.
Yeah, so it piques their interest, like, wait a minute.
And then they're completely harmless balls.
Jim, yellow jackets we call them a-holes with wings in my business.
Oh, yeah, they are. They are complete. I've been stung right here by one. It's not fun. My whole face blew up. And I'm not allergic, but it was not fun.
The last time I got stung was a yellow jacket's nest. I had already removed the whole nest. And I was standing about 20 feet away just watching the stragglers that were returning. And one came from behind me, landed on my arm, and nailed me. And it's like, how did you know that it was me? Like,
they know.
There's no way. Like, I'm so far away from this nest. You haven't gotten back to even be hit with the pheromones that tell you it's crazy. I try not to mess with that, but you can't be around my house. Sorry.
If
you do mess with them, be in the shade. Don't ever have the sun to your back, because that's how they see you. You're done. If the sun's behind you and you're silhouetted, goodbye. They're going to be on top of you.
But if you're in the shade,
come in from behind the sun so you're not silhouetted. And normally what I'll do is I'll find the access to the nest. I'll hit the opening with a foaming insecticide that's going to kill the scouts before they can set anybody off. I'll walk up. I have this long duster. Basically like based in a turkey. I'll put that right into the center of the nest and hit them with dust, and they're done.
There you go.
I'll take it down, bag it, throw it away. And it's about that fast. And people are like, why am I giving you $150 for this? And I'm like, well, do you want to do it? Do you have the chemicals? Do you have...
Yep. I mean, because I'm here. That's why. Because you didn't.
When I worked for a big national company, I used to work for Terminix. People would complain that I wasn't there long enough. So I'd start, if it was a bee job, I'd get out, figure out what I had to do, and I'd go sit in the truck for like 10 minutes, so that I wouldn't get complaints that they were paying the money that Terminix was charging them, and I was only there for 15 minutes. Well, wait a minute. Don't you just want these things gone? What? You're not paying for how long it is. You're paying for the service.
Yep. It's unfortunate, but this is what it is. You didn't want to do it yourself, so here I am. That's crazy. That's funny.
Yeah. Yako, the carpenter bees are going to come to any raw wood that you got. So you're either paint or stain it, and then fill those holes. At this time of year, though, they've already laid their eggs. So you're going to want to put like a powdered dust up in those holes before you fill them and paint it.
There you go, guys. This is Learn to Kill Things by Brian F.
It's always fun when they have those things like, what do you do, but don't say what you do? And I'm like, I'm a contract killer or things like that,
Ah, Caleb, those are cool pictures, man. He sent me pictures of his balls, his ball pythons. I'll say that. Can't say he sent me pictures of his balls because that's not right. So, do you guys have any questions about Brian? Maybe more on the maker side of things, not his
Tim's asking about himself.
professional, his professional life. Yeah, it's going to be an issue. Got my Dale Gribble hat.
Yeah, these are what I'll be doing for a while. I've got quite a few of Edgy's knives to knock out.
So he's just sending you the knives with no scales on them, and you're just making the scales for him?
Yep. So I told him, the size, the holes, the drill, and the knife, and
yeah,
I do the scales and send them back. And then a lot of them, I think, are going to go to Kyle to get sharpened.
Okay. So it's like a giant
That's nice.
collaboration.
I am glad I'm getting these unsharpened because a Kyle edge is scary.
No, you can't. That would be crazy. That's the sharpening a knife. Is
I'd lose a finger.
Thing I do.
Yeah, I'd lose a finger with.
No. You can't. Yeah, the sharpening. That's the last step before I do anything because I like all of these. So, and to try to put a handle or shape a handle on a knife that has an edge on it, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Sharpening is the last step. The very last thing I do is sharpen the knife. So that's a cool collaboration project. Is that something that you guys are kind of putting together?
Yeah, he loves making knives and he loves grinding them, but he just doesn't like doing scales. This is not his.
I've had Edgy on, and that's what he's said. He's like, I just, because of his hands, or I think I forgot what it was, but he just doesn't have the dexterity to be able to really do the fine motor skill work on when it comes to doing handle scales. So, yeah, that's awesome. If it turns into a collaboration with all of you guys, that's a really win-win situation for him because he's such a cool dude.
This is that collab with Keith, and my goal is to get this up to Terry. I made a matching all for it with glow in it.
That's awesome.
And I'm thinking like a holster sheath, that you can put on the outside of. But I also think this would be a great set for maybe a leather worker, or that would cut a nice straight edge. And you got the poke the holes. And then we haven't decided yet. We're either going to do a giveaway or maybe auction it off for some good purpose or something.
Yeah, that's always fun to do. And so many people would use that. Both of them are great. He has nerve damage in his hands. Yeah, so I know he has dexterity issues and he can't do the fine motor stuff that just, on either the belts, either at the grinder or just using sandpaper or even the polishing wheels. He doesn't have the dexterity in his hands to do that. And I know that's the handle work is what I know has told me that he kind of struggles with. And I get it. That would be frustrating as heck because I take a lot of time to try to get my handles nice and smooth and comfortable in the hand. So that it just kind of melts in your hand.
You'll know this too. Material isn't cheap. And if you get all the way, you have the whole knife done and you're 80% there and you're on scales and you screw up the scales and you have to make it's frustrating, man.
Oh yeah, when you have to continually do that, because it's not like I've never made a mistake before, and then you're like, oh, I got to cut more material now. I try to get material I over order material if I can. Sometimes it's so expensive that I can't. But yeah. So, but it's fun. I see the community is awesome when you're doing stuff with Keith. which I want to have Keith the Knife Freak on here too, so he can get out there. And
you need to get Keith on.
He has started to really step up his game with his making and doing things. He's doing some really different things. Is that a Keith?
Yep. So this is a Keith. Keith made this for Tactical Terry, 1931 Leatherworks.
Yeah.
And it's designed after a sod buster, but it's a fixed blade. And then I loved it from day one. And Terry knows I've got a collection of Keith knives. So he's like, I'm not carrying this much. Are you interested? And I'm like, shit, yes. So.
Well, you guys are close, right? Or no?
Yeah. So that's the other thing. All of my Keith the Knife Freak knives are in a 1931 Leatherworks.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And 1931 Leatherworks has started to do some
Kydex too. He's doing Kydex that's wrapped in leather too.
He's doing, which that's amazing, Kydex wrapped in leather, but he's also doing some of my knives. He's reached out to some people that own some of my knives, and he started to do leather slips for them. I know Javon has a pedal that was gifted to him by Paul Mills, and he recently did a short with a 1931 Leatherworks sheath on it. So that is pretty cool. Yeah, I had a Keith the Knife Freak knife here. Whatever that model is called is, I don't know if he calls that.
I believe he calls this his Hunter.
So I had a Hunter here, and someone had done a sheath for it, but I wanted to redo it because it wasn't done very well.
Yeah, so these are my Michigan carry. So everything on it's Michigan, even the beads. There's a guy not far from me that blows glass beads, and you would think they're not durable. I've beaten these things on stuff and they don't break, so I had to test it out because I thought, it's a good idea, but
you wouldn't think so being glass, but
they're tough. They're pretty tough. I haven't had one break yet. Like, even my muskrat, I have one of his beads on it. You know, that's glass.
It's so cool that you have artisans that are so close. Like, I've tried to reach out to see who's in this area where I'm at, and it's just like a ghost town.
I don't know if you can see that, but look at that purple and white swirl in that bead. Matches the purple and white almost identical in that Fordite.
And is that glass, or is that?
Yeah, it's glass. That's a glass bead.
Jeez, that's another craft that's completely amazing to me, is the glass blowing.
He's actually a stained glass guy. He makes crazy stained glass, and he takes little pieces of cutoffs, and he melts it down and makes the beads out of them.
That's crazy. Like, does he blow it or just kind of forms it in a circle?
No, I think he takes a rod and like melts the glass and pours it. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe he drills them. I have no idea, but I like him.
Any of that glass work is kind of crazy. There's a show on Netflix, Blown Away.
Yeah.
I don't know if
any hand blown stuff I've always been a fan of.
But that show, my wife and I got into that show, and it is such a cool show. And I'm like, why don't they need to do the glass blowing version of Forged in Fire? And I think that would be cool. Like, just blown glass competition kind of set up like Forged in Fire. Obviously, you're not making knives or anything, but
that would be so tough, man.
Can
you imagine the pressure of making a piece like that? With
the time frame can be adjusted with whatever, but with making a vase or make this or they have to make something else in certain colors or whatever. But that is just such a raw thing when you're taking something that hot and then you're blowing it and forming it. And I don't know. I would watch that show. Just personally, I would watch the television show. if they were able to do something like that, I think it would be a hit. So I need to reach out.
Keith, I've got some green beads already. Let me know.
Oh, look at that. We're already hustling. What happened? Brian F., I have the sax that he made. Oh, yeah, you do have the Keith.
I know. I was going to let Jim know. When you're ready to get rid of that, tell me. Otherwise, I'm going to have Keith make one, because when I saw... The Hunter was my first one, and I love this knife. This thing, awesome. Love it. So then I reached out to Keith, and I'm like, I need a sheep's foot Warncliffe. And he made this. And when he was making it, he showed me the picture of the Sax Warncliffe, and I'm like, oh, I think I might want that.
That's hard. That's hard. And wait till Brian gets a Bloomcliff.
Right? So I'm a knife guy. Everybody knows that. I love my pocket knives, but I'm really a fixie guy. I love, when I go off to work, I carry pocket knives. When I'm home and I'm doing stuff, I have fixies all over me. I'm always have a neck knife. I'm a big neck knife guy.
Look at that thing.
So this is made by a good friend of mine in Michigan.
That's crazy. Well, your Bloomcliff will make a great neck knife if that's what you're carrying around.
I am pretty sure that's how I'm going to carry it. And then,
Brian, Keith said he'll make you a sax. Look at that thing.
A nice Nessmilk. This is from the same guy in Michigan.
Nice. I heard Scandi grind on that.
Yep, a Scandi grind Nessmilk. So
it'll take a beating. You can do a lot of things with that thing.
Another Michigan maker, Morris knives. You ever heard of them?
Morris? I think I have.
Another glass bead on there. This is an all Michigan carry too.
I should be making you big. That's for sure. Yes, that's what I love about that is
he takes barrier rasps and then.
Yep, but he makes it where you know where it came from, but it's still beautiful.
Yep.
Great
all of them are signed.
That's so cool. Yeah, looks good. What did Bluminati say? Artists, your mission is to create a Voss using only old, dirty 7-Up and Coke bottles. You have 4 hours on your clock. Your time starts now. What's up, Barbie? How's it going? I would watch it, Blue. I don't know. I would watch it. I would still watch it.
That's another Morris.
You guys are giving me a complex. That's another one. I like the smaller one.
Yeah, I like this one.
Yep.
This one, that bigger one's a hunting knife. I carry that when I'm out hunting. This is a nice little fixie.
See,
that's more of an EDC.
When you're talking EDC, which is where my wheelhouse is, because I'm not much of a hunter or anything. I've never have been. Just wasn't what I was exposed to. So, but I need a nice little EDC fixie with me on a daily basis. So that's why I make the knives that I make. Most of them can be EDC'd fairly, very easy. So that's just my wheelhouse. But I like that you're doing all of these different things and creating a lot of the cool stuff. What material?
I just like making stuff. I like trying to do new things. So.
What materials would you like to work with that you haven't?
I've got Ultim to work with that I want to work with, but I haven't done it yet. I've got some really cool. Bluminati hooked me up with some pieces that he had from work that I think will make some cool ferro rod handles but it'll be some big boys. The way because they're already drilled, the hole is already kind of determined. But
Okay. Ultim?
and then I bought a sheet of Ultim because I had a scale idea that I wanted to do, but it was too scratched up to use as a show scale. I didn't like it, so I think it's going to end up being liners. I've used fat carbon, which I like. Carbon fiber, I just think it's so messy. It's so sanding carbon fiber is just a mess.
Yep. I just did 3 of them.
And maybe I'm wrong, but I also think it's pretty rough on your equipment.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Like
It'll tear up your equipment.
I've noticed like when I do these worry stones that chamfer on there with my router.
Oh no.
Maybe 2 of these in that bit's dull. It rips it up. And it does a pretty good pull on my bandsaw cutting it too.
Yeah, when I cut that material, my bandsaw blades, number one, I don't use fresh bandsaw blades for it. I'll just use used because any handle material. My Carta is bad with bandsaw blades, but carbon fiber is just, it's a real pain in that butt to really do anything until you get to hand sanding it. And the belt grinder, it will go really fast on the belt grinder. So you have to.
I agree. It seems like it's the hardest substance in the world when you're trying to cut out a rough shape, but so quickly on your sandpaper you can.
Yeah, with your abrasives, it's almost better to just grind it all off instead of trying to cut it off.
I think it's the resins and stuff that they have in it. It's so hard that it sands away well from the abrasion, but not cutting.
I think it's like the fibers that are in there too, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. Hey Barbie, what's going on?
I've been getting into this jute micarta a lot.
Yeah,
Stevie found it.
I did all those blooms in the jute micarta and the jute bloom cliff in that jute micarta. Really good, really attractive stuff. I really like it.
Have you seen the bison?
The brown?
It's a brown and red. It's nice.
Yeah. Well, that bloom cliff is in the brown jute micarta.
Okay. Nice.
But like this is burlap micarta, just the black burlap micarta. But the jute micarta looks different. It's a finer.
Yeah. So there's the linen and there's jute.
Yeah.
So the jute, for me, I found is the material they use to put that together is way harder than linen. I can cut linen micarta on my bandsaw, and it's not much more than cutting wood. But this jute, this stuff.
Yeah. It was tough.
Super tough.
Because when I did all those blooms for February, and they were all jute micarta, and that's the Sedona color of it. But yeah, I still have some little cutoffs of it, and it's tough, but I like it because it's kind of a tighter weave than just a regular burlap micarta.
Mm-hmm.
That black didn't show really well, but like that is just your
that black jute when you actually are up close to it is amazing.
Yeah, the black jute micarta looked awesome.
And the bison's a lot like it. It's a really dark, rich brown, but the fibers of the jute in it are kind of like red, so it comes out like this reddish brown. I just got a piece in. I haven't made anything yet, but I really like the just that natural jute that they had. I've got emerald green. I just picked up to try. The red, the blue.
Yeah.
Stevie's was like that midnight blue or whatever. It's almost black.
Yeah. Well, Maker Material Supply has a pack you can get. It's like a 5 or 6 color pack. And it's basically you get two 2
Two
scales.
of each.
So, and that's what I did on all of those blooms when I just got a pack of it at a fairly, it's not terrible priced out, but it gives you
compared to a lot of other materials and how much I like it and I think it finishes up. I think it's a steal of a value.
Oh yeah, because what I like about that's what I like about my Carta. You can go full polish if you want, or you can keep it rough, like on this, and that's like a 220 grit sandpaper, and I just kind of stopped right there, and I cleaned it up with acetone and did a light polish on it. But
I think that's the best finish. I know people like the polish, but I like it's a little grippier. It feels a little almost, it gives it kind of that furry feel
to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where I am with my Carta now. When I first started, I just felt like everything needed to be high polished, which you can do. It's a lot
this
more work.
G Carta, it's like a Terro Turf. My Carta,
yeah,
is great like that. Really rough, porous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's coming through, but that stuff.
Yep, that G Carta. I need to get some of that.
I love the furry texture like of that. How it, just the feel. It's kind of like good Kaiser micarta.
There it goes. It's focused now. Yeah, it gives it a good look. Yeah, my card is good. I'd be interested once you get going on the Ultim, how that's to work with. Not that I would consider it, but I feel like it's a real pain in the butt to work with.
I don't think it's going to be bad. What I think it's going to scratch up easy. Like not that Ultim scratches easy, but in a shop environment, when you're doing stuff and you're around abrasives, you're one slip away from putting a scratch in the surface that you didn't want. But
yeah,
the other thing is, I think the best Ultim has milling in it, like grooves and stuff, and I'm not capable of doing that. So I've kind of stepped back from wanting to make Ultim. I think just a smooth piece of Ultim, you really have to polish it to make it look good.
Yeah, I'm wondering how that is to polish it though. Like I mean, I have my polishing wheel and some compound that I could use, but I'm wondering if it'll polish up kind of like other acrylics, kind of where you can really get a good polish on it, or once it's scratched, it's really difficult to get that out.
I think it'll polish pretty nice. I've seen a couple like exclusives. Who does that? Man, I can't think of the knife company that.
Is it a custom or?
They do exclusives, and they've done a couple like Devo exclusives with the polished Ultim, and then they did QSP with polished Ultim.
I think I know what you're talking about, but yeah, I'm sure someone in the chat's screaming at it right now. But yeah, I think I've seen it. I've never been a huge fan of Ultim to begin with. The color's been off on it, and I've just never been way of knife.
Traditional pocket knives is the one I'm thinking of, but yeah. Way of the Knife, they're a cool custom making place.
Yeah, Jim Miller got it, and Byron. Thank you, Byron. Thank you, Jim.
See, that's got the milling in it, right?
Yeah. So this has. Let me make myself big. So that has. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pick it up, but that has the micro milling and the scales.
Yep.
And it actually came out for Ultim. It came out looking pretty good. I mean,
I think Kubi does a phenomenal job with their Ultim. I have most of their 14C and Ultim knives in the set and finish.
I'm happy with it. But again, I'm super biased right now with that knife.
Like I said, I bought this immediately. That was the Ultim Finish one. So I want to buy another one. Maybe put the Ultim scales back on, but I think I want my Carta too. I have a knife problem.
Nah, it's not a problem. There's 1931 Leatherworks. What's up? We're just showing off your sheaths. The Bacon Bay knife experience? What?
I'm not sure.
You got what? You got a TPK spear hog right here.
Traditional pocket knife, yeah.
Spear hog. Bacon is life. Oh boy. What did you guys get into in the chat?
I don't know, but I agree. Bacon is pretty phenomenal.
I mean, you can't go wrong with it. That's for sure. So, do you guys in the chat have any questions for Brian? I'll try to keep try to keep an eye on the chat to see anybody have any not questions for him. If you are interested in something custom as far as handle scales or an awl or a ferro rod, reach out to him on Instagram. Mitten State EDC on Instagram, I believe, right?
Yep.
So, or you can go to the EDC Roundtable and check out his wares there, and his contact information is there as well. Casey will have Dust Devils at Blade Show. There you go. He'll have Dust Devils at
I
Blade
am not
Show.
Going to Atlanta this year. I've never been to a Blade Show yet. Last year I was going to go and backpack, and Doug weren't able, and I was really planning on meeting up with them. And so this year was on the books, and my daughter, who lives in Tennessee, called, and she said, "I'm coming home with the kids." And I'm like, "Sweet, when?" During Blade Show. So I'm like, not going to Blade Show.
There's priorities, people. Priorities.
So, I think I've got it sold to the wife that we're going to take a vacation to Salt Lake City, to Blade West.
There you go. There you go. I think I might try to get to Blade Show Atlanta next year. Not this year, next year. Kubi will be there at Blade Show Atlanta, which is crazy because I think that's the first time they've ever been.
Aren't they only there because KC's selling some of them?
Yeah, that's the conspiracy theory. But they only have a table, and they only probably have some of their newer items. But I'm hoping, I'm just assuming, I'm going to assume, but you know what happens when you assume, that they will have blooms at their booth, at their table. Because they don't have
I would hope so. If they're reading the environment, they would be wise to bring some blooms to Blade Show.
I agree. It's in the promotional pictures and stuff. The bloom is there, so you got to have it now.
Yeah.
Brian White was like, "Did you?"
Unfortunately, I never did find my knife. The cold steel.
I'm sure there's a story behind that.
Not this week Friday, but the Friday following before that, I was out doing moles, and somehow my FM1 cold steel fell out of my pocket.
Oh no, gone forever.
Yeah, I went back. I've through at least one of the customers' yards where I thought it might have come out, because that's the other thing too. I'm really careful about pocket clips and stuff, doing exterminator stuff, because branches love to catch it and pull stuff out. And normally I'm on top of it. Before I even leave a job, I kind of do my pat down, like where my knives are, like. And doing moles, I'm out in the middle of a yard, right? I'm not by anything. So what could it have got snagged on is the question. So I only went to the one house where I was kind of going up into some bushes because they were coming along the edge of the yard. And I went through his whole yard and looked, but my customers don't want me out there just roaming their yard for endless. And that's funny because my original Keith the Knife Freak, I lost this in a customer's yard doing mosquitoes.
Oh no.
And I did not leave. Like I had treated and she came out and she's like, I'm taking off. And I'm like, sweet, it'll be dry when you get home. And I'm putting my stuff away and I go to get back in the car. And like I said, I went to do the pat down and it was gone.
Oh no.
And I knew it happened there. And I'm like, I'm not leaving. Hour and a half it took me to find it.
Yes.
Luckily, it was my last one of the day and I own the company, so I can kind of.
There you go. Well, yeah, when you own the company, you get to do that.
That sounds impressive, but it's just me. There's no real. It's not. We're not talking Fortune 500.
Yeah. Several are missing due to family obligations.
I'm thinking he's talking about Blade Show. He can't go because of family stuff.
You're still looking for it, Rainbow? Hopefully it'll turn up. It's been a while. Every folks looking forward to Kubi. Yeah, I mean, Ginger Fisher, it's kind of, I think they're going to be a little overwhelmed with just a table. I think they're probably not prepared what's going to be hitting them at Blade Show.
I've lost 3 knives that in the last probably 5 years, and that FM1 hurts bad.
I hope that doesn't happen. Jeez, Keith.
What's it?
Someone will find it with a lawnmower.
Yeah. I bet you.
Oh yeah, Jim knows.
I bet you that thing will still be okay. It's gonna have a nice mark in the titanium, but it'll
have
probably still function.
It'll have a chunk, but it'll still work. Yeah.
I lost when I moved into this house. I lost my black micarta pinion, which was devastating, and ordered another one from Casey right away because of the pinion and the microburst are pretty much staples in my carry.
Yeah, I love that microburst.
Dude, love this knife.
It's so people, I think the blade shape throws people off, but it's so useful and it's
so utilitarian. It's so comfortable. It's the perfect size.
When you get it in your hand, it just kind of makes sense. Yeah.
One of our very first Napaholics, we were doing our pocket checks, and I call this the purple rain. It's the rain scales, and I dyed it purple. So somehow it opened in my pocket. And I sliced the hell out of my finger. And they thought I was kidding. And I'm like, oh. And I stopped for a minute, and I went and I wrapped that thing up, bandaged it, came back, finished my pocket check. And I'm like, all right, I'll see you guys later. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I want to go get some stitches. And they're like, what? Are you serious? And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, no, they're sharp. Mine is sharp. I don't have it out.
It's sharp. It took 5 stitches to close that up. There's pictures of it out there where my wife's in the background in the ER, and you can see the look on her face. And I'm taking a selfie with blood just pouring out of my finger, smiling.
And like that goes back to what you said earlier. Did you see Ginger Fisher's comment? Get a magnetic broom that'll help you find it.
Oh man, the titanium isn't magnetic, and that's the majority. I mean, maybe that S35 would snap up pretty good.
Yeah, it would. Hashtag pinion rules. Nobody is prepared for their first Blade Show. No, Jim, you're probably right, but I think Kubi, if this is the first time they've done it, I think, and if they just have a table, yeah, they might sell out in the first day.
That's the other one I lost was off-grid hoglet, and G-Ball hooked me up.
That's awesome.
Neck knife, that's another one. I wear this as a neck knife, right? It doesn't come out of this thing. I've been through my yard practically doing cartwheels and haven't lost it. Wife and I took a trip to Minnesota, and I had it in my sweatshirt underneath while we were driving. We get to the motel, and it's gone. I got out of the car twice. So it's at one of the gas stations on the ground. Hopefully it doesn't slice somebody's tire open.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know how it could have fallen out of the sheath, down my sweatshirt, and out without me hearing it or feeling it. It was one of those irrational things that just drove me crazy.
That's always the case, right? Like, how did that even come out? I don't know.
Well, I have a belly. Like, how did it not hit my stomach before it fell? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
like, how did that's so weird. That's crazy. Yeah. And Casey's doing some cool stuff. The downdraft.
That SR-71 prototype.
The SR-71 is awesome. He showed pictures of that with the Blackbird version of it, and I was like, that black and red that's very nice.
That's going to be sweet.
That's going to be sell really well. And then I'm waiting for the Tornado to come out, because that thing is going to be, that's right around my size of stuff. But the downdraft, the blade on that is cool. I'm a Tempest fanboy. I'm proud to say it. I won't hide it. I mean,
I've got multiples of pretty much everyone's of his knife. His designs speak to me. He's a great guy.
Yeah. We're supporting KC, who's a good guy, but the knives that he's creating are good.
They're worth it.
They're just good. Like that microburst, I've said it from the beginning that thing is awesome. It's such a fidgety, tuned perfectly. The only thing that I think throws people off is the blade shape is a little wonky, but once you get it in your hand, it totally makes sense. It 100% makes sense. I don't know.
Same here, Jim. I only got one Fractus because those are a little pricey.
Yeah, the Fractus, but I think that's kind of how he planned it. Tornado, I can't wait for the Tempest Tornado. Yep, the Tornado, because that's going to be around roughly about the size of my microjet that I have, and so I'll probably end up with one of those. And I don't have the money to buy all the knives that come out. I just don't. I put all of it back into the shop, which buying new tools and abrasives and handle materials and steel and
sandpaper ain't cheap, and you go through a lot.
Yeah, no, those belts are not cheap. That's for sure.
Nope.
Yeah, but yeah, and then anybody going to Blade Show, he'll have that kind of stuff too. But
Casey, besides being, like I said, I love his design language. I think he does a great job, and they're very functional, like you said. But that dude is an awesome pillar of the community, like straight up. Yeah. I had the Fractus, like Jim said, and I got the all black Stormcloud one. Love it with that black carbon fiber.
Yeah.
And then when the microjets came out and I saw the carbon fiber one, I'm like, oh my God, that needs the black blade. And then he had the Ultim with the black blade, and I love the Ultim with satin. And I'm like, that needs a satin. So I bought both. And he even told me, he's like, watch out. The pivots, some of them are been Loctite really bad. And on my Ultim one, I heated it up, I did everything, and I still stripped that damn pivot up.
Oh, no.
He had me send it back and sent me another knife. That was my fault. Like, he told me, I'm still careful, and he still took care of me.
See, yeah, he's a stand-up guy, and he knows his reputation, and he tries to keep it where it needs to be. And all respect to KC. People have haters all over, but he's been nothing but supportive to me and the things that I've I'm doing in my work. He's always the first one to jump up and help me with get exposure or whatever. Him and Stasa, and there's a handful of other guys that have just been super supportive of me and my work, and that's
awesome.
It's just like he was the first one. He got that blue rock hopper that Jim Miller owns now on his channel, and that was like the beginning, and then it just went all from there. So what's next for you as far as the making goes? What's something that you want to focus on next, or you just kind of like bring it? I'll take whatever you want.
I just like making stuff. If someone comes up and they want a custom ferro rod, I'm gonna make it, or an awl, spoons, scales. I'm gonna try and do it. I'm not. If you have an onlay, something like a folder that you want, I'd do something like that. Don't ask me to do it in carbon fiber, because a folding knife is so hard to do. If I screw up your carbon fiber, I don't want to have to buy more pieces. So, but if you want my Carta, things like that, because all it takes is one slip and that carbon fiber's done, and you got to get another piece. So,
yep, this is very true.
Fixed blades, it's a lot easier to do. So, at least in my experience.
Absolutely. Because I'm in the middle of that collaboration project with Corey, and the Black Pearl, let's see. We have this one.
I love that, the way you put those together.
There's that one. So Corey did all the grinds and stuff, so I'm not taking any credit for that.
Didn't you glue up the handle material? And didn't you say you put that together?
Yeah. So I didn't do this one. I did all the others. So this one he did all himself. He did all of that. But the other three, I have the Galactic Green Space Weave Camo Carbon, the Black Pearl Camo Carbon, and the Damtanium Camo Carbon, which is the blue and purple kind of weaved in. And all of them have glow liners on them. So
that's going to look awesome.
It's the white glow with the black pearl, the green glow with that green space weave, just like the passed around Cardinal XL that's being passed around. It's basically the same. And then that Damtanium, which is blue and purple camo carbon with blue liners and the blue glow in the dark pins. So I did all of those. He's sharpening them right now, and he's getting ready to send them all back to me this week. And maybe by next Sunday's live, I'm going to have Corey back on, and we're going to drop those live during a live stream. I'm going to drop them on the Etsy store and see how well they sell. Because this is a collaboration project. It's like a one-time deal. We might do it again. We might not do it again. I don't know. It's just going to
I hope they sell out as fast as all your other ones do.
We'll see. I don't know.
They look like they've got some really nice materials, and it's well worth it. Put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, even this one, it's D2, but it's D2, but it's blacked out. Like the camera does not pick it up whatsoever. That
is an awesome finish on that.
The black is completely blacked out, and it's almost rough. Like it has a texture to it.
Are all of them in D2?
No, just this one. And then one of them's an EDC RV2, one of them's in Nitro V, and one of them's Damascus.
I really like that D2. I like D2 in the first place. I'm a fan.
And with that finish on it, it almost makes it corrosive resistant. Because
I bet you it is. That's going to have. D2 has a little bit, anyways. I don't have much problem with it here in Michigan, unless you're really bad knife practices. But
the way he did the heat treat on it, it creates basically a forced patina, and he leaves it on. So there's no reason to do anything with it. So I don't know. It probably would take a lot to scratch it. Obviously, the spine and the handle are all polished up, so you might need to oil those up every once in a while. But other than that, I think I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to throw them out there, and we're going to see if they sell. If they don't sell within that night, then we'll see how long they sit there for, but we will see. But
Man, yeah. I like that D2 one.
Yeah, that one came out really good, and I look forward to maybe doing another one with him down the road, maybe towards the end of the year, doing another run. But he's getting ready for Blade Show right now and everything else. He will have a table at Blade Show, so he's making some killer stuff. Like,
do you do any D2?
I don't necessarily work with D2. I've never worked with it. I don't know. It's not a stainless, and I can't heat treat it, so I don't want to send it out to get heat treated unless it's a stainless. So I just try to use.
I wonder if Shane can heat treat D2.
Who? Shane?
Edgy American. He's got an oven.
Yeah, I don't have an oven or anything like that. I could go to Corey's and do that maybe. I don't know. But if I'm going to do that, I'll do that with all of my steels. But I work with EDC RV2 because I can heat treat that. And anything else I have to send out to get heat treated. But what was I going to say? I don't even remember. But yep, we'll do another collaboration. But that one is cool. And they all have the carbon fiber Kydex on them. So, which I did all the sheets. So that was a fun project. It's fun to do stuff like that. But it is fun. So does anybody else have any more questions for Brian? We're working up to 10 o'clock here.
Yep, I just saw a message from the wife asking when I was going to be done.
There it is. She's got stuff for him to do, so.
I think she wants to go to bed and I'm loud.
There you go. We can let you go to bed. Yeah, my wife's already done for the day. She's like, please don't, just stay out there.
If we ever meet in person, I apologize ahead of time because everybody tells me I'm audibly disabled. Like, I just get loud and it gets louder, and I try to keep it down. But
you're good.
It's a Farney trait. That's my last name. All of us, like, people used to have my dad yell for their kids in the neighborhood because we're just loud.
We're loud. Yeah,
like,
I have the same thing. Once I get talking, I start to get loud. Like, I don't even have a microphone today. I'm just talking into the laptop.
I have 4 brothers. There's 5 of us, and all of us are loud. And my wife, when she first, like, she would have to take breaks. She's just like, wow, like Christmas, like Thanksgiving stuff. She's just like, my ears hurt.
When your family gets together, it's crazy. Mine was not like that, but low key.
Which link do you want? The EDC roundtable?
Yeah, we'll throw. Anybody have a EDC roundtable link? I guess I could do it. Hold on.
I'm doing it. I don't know. Maybe I'm not a mod. Am I a mod in your chat? I don't think I am.
I don't think you are, but hold on. I'll do it. Let's do this. And boom. There it is. We have the EDC roundtable. Guys, go check out the roundtable in general because there's some really cool stuff on there. You got Joe, who's been on, and now Brian F. with Mitten State EDC. If you're interested in a ferro rod, interested in a custom awl, maybe you have a fixed blade you want to get scales for, you got to hit Brian F. up and give him some ideas on some handle materials that he can go have some fun with. Maybe not carbon fiber, but
if it's a fixed blade, I'm getting to the point where I've got the stuff. These are starting to become pretty easy. It took a while to figure out the bolts and the proper mills I wanted and the jigs to make things the counter set, but just a quick learning curve.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I've done it only once, and I just recently picked up some screws that I want to try. But you know, they're three-piece screws. So you have the barrel, and then the two screws come off either side.
Where did you pick those ones up from?
I think probably Amazon or something. I ended up finding some. They are, hex. I think they're T8s, and we'll see. I don't know. I bought them. I might use them down the road. I might not use them down the road. We'll see.
What's the total length on those when it's fully the width? How wide would it be for the scale?
Oh, I forgot what it was, and I don't have a measuring thing here, so I don't remember.
You think about it, just throw it on a ruler later and text it to me.
Yeah,
I'd like to know.
I can try to send you a link if I can find it. I'll hit you up with the link. The thing with this is because the barrel is basically itself, I can cut, like the barrel comes off and it's loose.
Yep.
I can trim that barrel down if I need to.
Yeah, that's nice.
And so I've done it before. It's not perfect, but it still holds the scales onto the knife very well. I've done it before. We'll see. I don't know. Raybo said he definitely wants a ferro rod. So Raybo, you got to hit up Ryan F. Hook you up. He's got ferro rods available on the store right now.
These Gulson bolts or whatever they call them off of Makers or what I use, and they have the attached barrel.
Yeah.
And
that's probably better.
What I've found is if you've got all that width that you can do to determine your scale.
Yeah.
But if you have a smaller knife and you've got a big one, that's the width you can get to.
Yeah.
I started grinding these down. So I just hand grind them.
Yeah, that's pretty thin.
To whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty thin. So what's up, Corey? What's going on, man?
The one that had to be pinned.
Yeah. I'm going to head out. Glad I was able to catch live. All right, Raybo, thank you so much. I think we're going to wrap this one up. I don't see any other questions coming through. So,
yeah, my wife's ready for me to be done.
Yeah. Hey, Brian, thank you so much for joining me on this. This was a great conversation. I hope everybody hits you up. I really enjoyed chatting. Maybe we could do it again sometime. That would be cool. Make sure you guys are checking out Nafaholics Saturday nights at 10. Brian doesn't come on until 10:15. Check out Brian's channels on Instagram and here on YouTube. And check him out on the EDC Roundtable, selling some really cool stuff. There's a bunch of stuff available right now. So go hit him up. Pick up something fun because he's doing great work. So thank you guys so much. Please remember, subscribe, like, leave a comment or not. Again, the choice is always yours. We'll see you on the next one. Later, guys. Bye.
Have a good one.